Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most influential universes in all of science fiction, Frank Herbert's Dune. We're not just going to recap the plot, oh no. We're going to deconstruct the intricate systems that make this world really, truly tick.
You see, this quote from Princess Roland, it really gets to the heart of it. Dune is so much more than a simple story about heroes and villains. It's a universe that's built on these incredibly complex, interlocking systems. We're talking ecology, politics, power, religion. To really get why it's such a sci-fi phenomenon, we have to dissect the anatomy of its world.
Everything, and I mean everything, in Dune comes back to this one fundamental question. How can a barren wasteland, a planet of just endless sand and scorching sun, be the single most valuable piece of real estate in the entire galaxy? The answer to that? Well, that's the key to understanding everything.
So, let's start with the planet itself, because it's not just a setting, not just a backdrop, it is the engine that drives every single event in this story.
Arrakis is a world of extremes. The book says everyone native to the planet looks prune dry and undernourished. I mean, here, your body's water content is your literal measure of wealth. It's so precious that it's actually reclaimed from the dead. This is a planet that forges people into the toughest survivors you can possibly imagine.
And this is why Arrakis is so important. Melange, the spice. Now, the slide calls it a geriatric substance. That's just a fancy way of saying it extends life, dramatically slowing down how you age. It is the oil, the data, the fountain of youth for this universe, all rolled into one. It lets the guild navigators literally fold space and time, which makes traveling across the galaxy possible. So, you control the spice, you control everything.
And you absolutely cannot talk about the spice without talking about these things. The colossal sandworms of Arrakis. They're terrifying, okay? They can swallow entire factories whole, but they're also revered, worshipped almost, as Shai Hulud, or Old Man of the Desert. Because as we're about to see, these creatures aren't just monsters. They are the sacred source of the universe's greatest treasure.
So naturally, when you've got a resource this valuable, this important, and this scarce, conflict is pretty much inevitable. A huge, terrible game for power begins to unfold across the stars.
The central conflict here pits two great houses against each other. On one side, you have House Atreides, led by the noble Duke Leto. They're all about honor and justice. They're leaving their beautiful, lush waterworld to take over Arrakis from their sworn enemies, the cruel and conniving House Harkonnen. The Harkonnens, led by the grossly and immensely fat Baron Vladimir, have been strip mining the planet for decades. But here's the twist. This handover, it isn't a promotion, it's a trap.
Now, this clash between honor and pure evil seems pretty straightforward, right? But that's just the surface layer. The real power in the Dune universe, it operates on a much, much longer timescale, and it manipulates these great houses like they're just puppets on a string.
Yep, beyond the Emperor, beyond the warring houses, there are three totally unique organizations playing a centuries-long game of chess. And right now, Arrakis is the most important square on the entire board.
Okay, so first, you have the Bene Gesserit, this secretive sisterhood that has been manipulating bloodlines for thousands of years, all to produce a male super being that they can control. Then you've got the Mentats. These are basically human computers trained to think with pure, cold logic, a skill that became essential after a huge war against AI. And finally, the Fremen, the native people of Arrakis who everyone, and I mean everyone, consistently underestimates.
But here is where it gets truly fascinating. It's how all of these different pieces connect. The planet, the spice, the giant sandworms, the Fremen, they aren't separate things. They're all part of a single, deeply interwoven ecological secret that holds the key to true, absolute power. This cycle, right here, this reveals the central idea of Dune. While all the great houses are fighting over the product, the spice, the Fremen are the only ones who understand the system that creates it. They know the sandworms are the true kings of Arrakis. They know the worm's life cycle is what makes the spice. And they know that to control the universe, you don't just need bigger machines to harvest with. You need to understand the ecological foundation of power itself.
And this is the Fremen's secret weapon. While the great houses just see a barren wasteland to exploit, the Fremen, guided by this imperial planetologist named Lee Kynes, have a secret, centuries-long plan to slowly terraform Arrakis, to turn it into a green paradise. Their knowledge of the environment is their ultimate power.
So all of this brings us to the big question. Why does a story that was written over half a century ago feel, if anything, more relevant today than it ever has?
I mean, just think about it. Frank Herbert was writing about the dangers of resource scarcity and ecological collapse way back in 1965. The galactic war for spice is such a clear metaphor for our own world's fights over oil. The book is just masterful in how it explores religion and prophecy being used as engineered tools of power. And it imagines this whole future where humanity, because of a ban on thinking machines, has pushed the potential of the human mind to its absolute limits.
Ultimately, Dune forces us to completely reconsider where true power and wisdom actually come from. It suggests that they aren't found in giant armies or fancy palaces, but in understanding the deep, often invisible systems that govern our world, and in the resilience of the people who live in harmony with them. By building a universe with such painstaking, incredible detail, Frank Herbert gives us way more than just a great story. He gives us a new framework, a new lens for understanding our own world. He challenges us to look beneath the surface and to see the complex, interconnected systems that are shaping our own destiny, right now.